Let the record reflect that today, Tuesday, September the 24th, it is 7:09. We're starting our meeting. Welcome, everybody. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Matt Curry, Innocent, from the PAL, Junior Cadet. Let's all stand. And we'll be followed by the invocation by Pastor Edith Pascal from Ministry International. Sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please rise as we are going to say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and may God bless.
Women standing, please.
Good evening. Father God, we just thank you for this wonderful opportunity to invite you into this meeting. You are the creator of the heaven and the earth, you that are in control. We pray, Lord, that you will take full control over this meeting. Father God, take control over every agenda, everything that the city needs. You know what's best for the city. Bless everyone. Bless the mayor and everyone working with her. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Clerk. Roll call, please.
Mayor Thundwell.
Here.
Councilwoman Sterrell. Vice Mayor Galvin.
Here.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Keys.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Order of business, Mr. City Attorney. Any addition, deletion, amendment to the agenda?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. We would, at the petitioner's request, we would like to pull tab F and tab L. They just notified us a few hours ago that they would like to remove this item from the agenda. Again, that's tab F and tab L. We would also just want the record to be reflected that we must hear tab N November before tab M as in Mary. And as far as the presentations, the Biscayne Landing Environmental Update and Discussion for tab Q, it would be removed as a presentation and would be heard at the time of the tab.
Thank you. We do have our special presentation. I believe that we are celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month, and Puerto Rico was the country selected for this month. I was hoping to have some Puerto Rican food tonight. No. Pastelitos is not Puerto Rican. Guava with cheese is not Puerto Rican. I've been to Puerto Rico. I know what they eat. We were hoping to have a feast, but apparently we're not having any. Don't we have any Puerto Rican restaurants in North Miami? Yes, we do. Don't we?
El Kiosco?
El Kiosco. And you brought us pastelitos?
Thank you.
We're saving for October 11th.
Ah, the big feast. Okay, we'll be there. Okay, we'll be there eating anyway. We have to salute our resident from Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is comment on dit, city del alma, the country del alma, el país del alma. Oh, there we go. I see. You guys know. So let's go on with the presentations. Everybody join me? I like to face my audience when I do. Before we start with the goodies, I believe that Major Anne-Marie Cardona of the North Miami Police Department, she will speak on behalf of North Miami's Hispanic Heritage Month. Major Cardona? Come.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. Okay, estamos celebrando Hispanic Heritage Month, so we have to have a little bit more of enthusiasm here. This is the Latin community in here, I'm sure, right? And I know there's a bunch of Puerto Ricans back there, so we do know how to celebrate. Okay, thank you. Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to represent North Miami's Hispanic Heritage Month Committee, which is a group of 8 wonderful women that were brought together. Thank you, Chief, back there, for placing me on that committee. And I have the opportunity to share information about my own heritage. Just to give you a little bit of background, Hispanic Heritage Month was celebrated throughout the United States from September the 15th through October the 15th. It's a time for us to honor the histories, cultures, and the contributions of Americans whose ancestors came from Latin American countries. The observance began as a week-long festivity in 1968 under President Lyndon B. Johnson and was expanded under President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to include significant dates in history. September 15th through the 18th marks the anniversary of independence for most Central American countries. October 12th marks the arrival of Christopher Columbus, and Christopher Columbus Day is known as Dia de la Raza. In 2013, we're celebrating Viva Florida 500, which marks the 500th anniversary of Juan Ponce de Leon's arrival on Florida's East Coast. Ponce de Leon's convoy of explorers was the first group of Europeans to document a landing and give us the name La Florida. Here in North Miami, we are commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the history of Latinos in our city. This year's celebration, as the mayor mentioned, focuses on Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans have had a long history in our city, and for many years, the Puerto Ricans were the predominant Latino group in North Miami. I know this firsthand because I am a native North Miamian resident from way back when, and my family moved here in 1975. Puerto Rico is also called Rich Port, and it's comprised of several islands in the Caribbean, originally populated for centuries by indigenous people known as Taínos. The island was claimed by Christopher Columbus for Spain during his second voyage to the Americas on November the 19th, 1493. Puerto Rico remained a colony of Spain until 1898, when it was ceded in the United States as a result of Spain's defeat in the Spanish-American War. In 1917, Puerto Ricans were granted U.S. citizenship, and since 1948 have elected their own governor. In 1952, the Constitution, pay attention because there's going to be a test after this. In 1952, the Constitution of Puerto Rico was adopted and ratified by the electorate. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States, but has been managed to maintain its distinct cultural heritage. The official languages are Spanish and English, with Spanish being their primary language. The Taíno name for the island is Borinquen. The terms Boricua and Borincano are commonly used to identify someone of Puerto Rican heritage. There are more Puerto Ricans that live outside of Puerto Rico than on the island. Early settlers migrated to New York and then eventually to Florida. Puerto Ricans brought new traditions when they settled in North Miami, including stickball, which was popular on the streets of New York. This game is still played here on our very streets off of Northeast 8th Avenue every Sunday, hence giving that avenue the name Stickball Boulevard. And that is the short history and educational information on Puerto Rico and the city of North Miami. Thank you.
Thank you. What I would like to see happen out of your presentation is to have those little things throughout the month in our channel on 77, that people who are not Puerto Ricans that are watching our channel, they can learn something from it. And is Puerto Rican, I don't see any Puerto Rican in Congress, do we? One lady I met the other day, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've met her. Very good. Once again, congratulations. I would like to call upon the Heritage Month Committee to come forward as we recognize your work. The ladies from Puerto Rico. Oh, almost from Puerto Rico. Certificate of recognition, North Miami, Florida. Can I give the certificate before we take the pictures? May I? At least you ladies will have something to hold on to. North Miami Hispanic Heritage Month Committee in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month. Each year, we honor our Hispanic heritage from September 15 to October 15 with festivities that offer the sights, sounds, and savor, taste of our diverse culture in North Miami. In 2013, we featured the culture and tradition of Puerto Rico, which have added in North Miami's own unique identity. We are a melting pot city, and Puerto Ricans are the highest number of Hispanics in the city of North Miami. Al País Boenquen, to all of you ladies, congratulations and good job. I would also like to present a certificate of appreciation to each of our sponsors for this wonderful Heritage Month. One of them is Boenquen Medical Centers of Miami-Dade. I know they'll move to North Miami, Boenquen. Congratulations. Thank you. And also one to El Kiosco Latin Cafe. Very good. And another sponsor that we have is my friend, Mr. Trophy. I know he's here. All right. And of course, we have to give one to the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce of South Florida. Is that you?
Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of North Miami. Not only have Hispanics made enormous contributions to Miami-Dade County, in particular Miami-Dade and North Miami, and you have some outstanding individuals here. Okay? Huh? No. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the certificate. And thank you very much for your leadership. Congratulations to you and, of course, the councilman and Calvin and everyone else. But you have some outstanding individuals here. As you know, or may not know, Borinquen Clinic is going to open up another clinic in North Miami. We're expanding our adult medical services. I'm sure you said this before, right?
Not tonight, but you're doing good.
Okay. I happen to be on the board of directors. So we're expanding into North Miami. We're expanding our services, and we're making a financial contribution, a financial investment in the city of North Miami, in addition to the pediatric department that we have here. So we thank you, and we thank you for this this honor. Hispanics are just like the Haitian Americans, like the Italian Americans, like the German American, like the Jewish American. We are all Americans at the end of the day. So we thank you, and God bless you, and I'm glad I made it on time. And I brought a little gift. Roberto Clemente was an African American, no, I'm sorry, a black or African Puerto Rican who lived during the Jim Crow era in this country. In the 1950s, he played in I think it was Fort Myers, and was treated horribly. And in addition to the fact that he didn't speak English, he was black. There was always that double racism or double whammy, if you want to call that. But he made it, and he triumphed, and he became the first Hispanic to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Plus, he's a humanitarian. When there was an earthquake in 1972 in the country of Nicaragua, he took a plane load of merchandise for children and for the sick, supplies, and unfortunately the plane crashed. So that was our gift to Nicaragua and to the world. A very prominent African, Puerto Rican, black Puerto Rican, whatever you want to call him, whatever is the hip thing to say. But he is what he is, and he's made history for all of us, and especially for our youth, because we want to remind our youth that through sports, and of course in addition to education, but through sports, you can reach your goals in life. Discipline, comrades, become friends, and good things. So we thank North Miami for taking the leadership in that role. Okay. No, just a low. I'll get you one, though. I'll get you one. Okay. But I don't want
the right shoulders out. There we go. Perfect.
And let's not forget Juan Ponce de Leon. The first governor of Florida was the first governor of Puerto Rico.
No. No, it's we need to recognize the employee of the month for the summer 2013. Her name is Lola Hesley, park naturalist from Parks and Recreation. At this time, Mr. Geimer. Presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Again, my name is Jeff Geimer. I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation. And it's my honor this evening to recognize Lola Heasley, the parks naturalist over at Enchanted Forest Park. Lola's been with us a little over 15 years now. And I have to say, by looking at the park, you could tell what an amazing job she really does. She's passionate about what she does. She cares about the park. She cares about the people that visit the park. And this is recognition that's been a long time coming for her. Really briefly, in addition to providing programs and events for the community, Lola is directly responsible for the supervision, scheduling, and maintenance of the facility. Outside of the park, Lola is very active with the local elementary schools where she participates in career days and makes educational presentations. Above all, Lola displays an exemplary attitude in her relationships with the public and has an outstanding attitude of the city as a whole. Lola drives down from West Palm Beach on a daily basis to come and be with us. And like I said, it's a pleasure to recognize a dedicated employee such as Lola. I'd like to give her a moment to just say a couple of words. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just grateful to everybody. I can't do this. My support team. Everybody who comes, everybody who works with me, everybody who tells me what to do. So thank you guys.
Ernie Ramos and Annalisa Walker nominated Lola for this award, so I'd like them to come up in front as well, and Ernie has the plaque to present to Lola.
Slide.
Yeah.
Huh? Silence of the Lambs?
Yes.
Love to sing.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I know. It is a great movie. I love Jodie Foster.
Mr. Manager, any city events?
We invite Pam Solomon to provide our city events and announcements.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and to our viewers at home. We'd like to share with you a few of our upcoming events here in the city of North Miami as we enter the fall season. It's a very busy one. We have a lot planned, and as you heard, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month here in North Miami. We do have several events happening at the North Miami Public Library, and we will culminate as well with a Gran Fiesta, a block party, per se, on October 11th to the north of the North Miami Public Library along 132nd Street and Northeast 9th Avenue is when we will have our Gran Fiesta block party featuring the Puerto Rican group Plena Es. And just we invite you to enjoy the taste, the sights, the sounds of the Puerto Rican culture that evening. Please come out and join us from 6 to 9 p.m. Once again, on Friday, October 11th, 132nd Street at Northeast 9th Avenue. As you heard, Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated from September 15th through October 15th. So we are going out with a bang with our block party that evening. We also have the events at the library. We have a full calendar of library activities, but just to share with you some of the highlights, for families, we have our family Wednesday night storytelling, Tales Our Abuelitas Told, Los Cuentos de Abuelita. And every Wednesday night throughout Hispanic Heritage Month, we are having family story time. It's free for the community. It's a series of storytelling, puppetry, and hands-on arts and crafts for the entire family. Join us at the North Miami Public Library every Wednesday through October 9th at 6:30 p.m. and the library is located at 835 Northeast 132nd Street. You can also log on to our website at northmiamifl.gov/NoMi Library, NOMI Library, for a full calendar of all of the library activities. We also have another highlight, Viva Florida 500. As you heard, we are celebrating our 500th anniversary of the Day of Exploration here in Florida of Ponce de Leon, and we will have a fascinating evening with the great explorer Juan Ponce de Leon on Thursday, October 10th at the North Miami Public Library at 7 p.m. Once again, it's a free event, and the program is sponsored by the Friends of the North Miami Public Library, the Greater North Miami Historical Society, and the Arch Creek Trust. Also, the City of North Miami is an advisor agency for the state's Hardest Hit Fund program. And there's a new program that is coming out called the Principal Reduction Program. And it's basically for Florida homeowners who have remained current on their mortgage, but you can still apply for federal assistance if you're having a hardship to make those mortgage payments. So you haven't fallen behind, but you're finding that it's hard to keep it up, and it's meant to keep people in their homes so that you don't lose your homesteaded properties. The Florida Hardest Hit Fund program is designed to provide up to $50,000 to eligible homeowners. It's a one-time application process. It must be done online. So as an advisor agency, the City of North Miami is hosting a workshop for those interested homeowners that want to apply and need assistance with the application process. That will take place next Wednesday, October 2nd from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Gwen Margolis Community Center located at 1590 Northeast 123rd Street. And we will have the information up on our website as well. This is late breaking information and we're just putting it together. So once again, this is to process the applications online for the Florida Hardest Hit Fund Principal Reduction Program. For more information, you can visit our website at northmiamifl.gov, or you can also visit their website where they have the application online at www.principalreduction.com. flhhf.org. And I realize that's a very difficult URL to follow, so you can visit our website, and we'll have a link to their website as well. Just one more that I wanted to share. Coming forward, we have a vendor workshop for businesses in North Miami. You can learn how, if you're interested in working with the city, doing business with the city, even if you're a small business, the city has opportunity to do work with small businesses. So we invite you to participate and learn more at our upcoming vendor workshop. It will take place next Thursday, October 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Griffin Adult Center, located at 12220 Griffin Boulevard. And it's the opportunity to learn more about the bid process, learn what types of requests for proposals, requests for quotes that the city puts out, and how that process works. For more information, you can call our purchasing department at 305-895-9886, or you can visit our website at northmiamifl.gov/purchasing for more information, as well as our vendor applications. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know the mayor had stepped out, so I was reading all the documentation we're handed here at the last second. Hurricane preparedness, I believe, is next on the agenda.
Dr. Clark?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. North Miami, as a divisional EOC, takes the lead from the Dade County EOC. And at this point, we have nothing to report when it comes to hurricanes.
It's a wonderful thing. Good to know. I'm going to pull up the agenda right now. If you give me just a moment here. The laptop's not responding. Thank you very much. We have Citizens Forum. Anybody who would like to speak on any item is welcome to come to the microphone right now. You'll be allotted 3 minutes per person to speak on Citizens Forum. Former Mayor Woland, let me greet you. And also, let me extend greetings while we've got the moment to former Mayor Joe Celestin, who's also in the audience with us this evening. Welcome, Mayor Celestin. Welcome, Mayor Woland. 3 minutes is yours.
Good evening. I would like to speak about item Q, and if you will give me that opportunity, then I will sit down now and stand up later. On the other hand, if you want me to speak now, I will.
I'm in control of the gavel at this moment. I won't be later, so I'd certainly extend to you the 3 minutes now under Citizens Forum, leaving open the potential that you'd come back for another 3 minutes under item Q when that's heard.
Thank you, then.
Mayor
I'll
Celestin wasn't in the
of that.
room when the decision was made under the consolidation of the agenda, but item Q has now been moved. Well, item Q is later in the agenda. The presentation by Mayor Celestin has also been moved to that point. Later in the
Thank you,
agenda.
Vice Mayor. I'll try to
Return the gavel to
keep it down to 6
Mayor
minutes.
Tondra.
I'm Frank Woland. I live at 12934 Banyan Road. For 10 years or more, I sat on the dais there, and I pretty much took the lead on taking the responsibility for dealing with Munisport as a landfill and as a public official of our city. I spent thousands of hours dealing with the science of Munisport, going to meetings of various scientific groups and going to the EPA and trying to figure out what it was and whether or not it was hazardous and how we were going to clean it up. And there were no simple, easy, clear solutions to those problems. The problem and the property has a very long history, and I lived it, and I can spend a lot of time talking about it, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'll move on. By chance, I was at the Environmental Quality Control Board meeting. That's a board that meets down at Durham of engineers on September 12th. And when I walked in, I was surprised to find that Biscayne Landings was on the agenda. They wanted a variance to allow 192,000 cubic yards of fill to stay on the site. And I might add, and I guess this is a question of opinion, but it appeared that there were concerns that this was not clean fill. And they got the variance, and now it's on the site, and it appears there's a likelihood that it may remain on the site, although I guess the developer has a lot to say about that, and the city council has a lot to say about that, and perhaps there are some other government bodies that might be interested. But there it is. What is it? Depending on which piece of paper you read, because there are different reports and analysis, it's either 8.6% slag or 30% slag. What is slag? It's a concrete byproduct. It contains aluminum and silica and perhaps some other things that may not be good for the environment. So the balance, which is not slag, is dirt from the city center site. Some of that may not be so clean. Yesterday at Durham, I was talking to one of the hydrologic engineers, and he explained to me that
Go ahead, Mr. Olin.
that there were other off-site pollutants at the Brickell City Center site, and that pollution from those sites had meandered onto the site, so that when they were putting in the sewers, they had other issues dealing with the fill and the dirt that was there. And I've looked at a bunch of tests, and I'm not a scientist, and I don't know what they mean. And I've asked a lot of scientists, and I've gotten different opinions. So frankly, I'm concerned. I don't know if the 192,000 cubic yards of fill that has been put on the site over the last 6 or 7 months is hazardous to people, or if it's hazardous to the environment, or if it's hazardous to the bay, or if it's okay and it's not a problem at all. The county's position seemed to be, well, we're already cleaning up a mess, so when we're cleaning up the ammonia, we can kind of clean this up too. So it's really not so bad. I have some problems with that kind of thinking. So I've used my 3 minutes. I'll come back later, but I thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Citizen forum is still open. Citizen forum is now closed. Anyone else? Oh, come in.
Good evening, Mayor
Good evening.
and council members. Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street, Sunkist Grove. You have a concern. We need.
Excuse me.
We
Excuse
need.
me. Can I ask you to use that mic? Because I'm getting texts from citizens that cannot hear properly on television. The sound is blurry. Thank you.
We need and requesting an upgrade in police protection on the west side. There's various problems, pressing problems, that need to be addressed by police presence. And another resident had a concern regarding the pool rates being excessive. They felt that they could not have access to the pool because of the high rates of pool use. So asking please to look and see if anything can be done about it. My understanding is that for residents, $30 per session, but a session is merely 10 days. Am I reading it right or wrong? And if that's so, it's excessive. The community, people feel that they have no access because the rates are too high. So please, the rate for the pool and the desperate need we have for police presence on the west side requesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, use that mic. It's not clear.
May it please the council and mayor. I'm here. We have inadequate drainage on North Bayshore Drive. I'm Douglas from North Bayshore Drive. I have firsthand experience at seeing what's happening. I've tried to get on the agenda 2 times without benefit. Under the Citizens Bill of Rights, it's supposed to be a readily accessible, easily done thing, and I've had to really work at this. It's to protect the governed, not the governing. What I'm talking about on 6-2 and 616, we've had a puddle on North Bayshore Drive, 1,000 feet long, 70 feet wide, 2 feet deep. For the first time since 1979, I've had canoes going down the street, real canoes with 2 live people in them. The point is, the puddle's taken 30 hours to drain. The causation, it's a law of unintended consequences. I could go into detail. This is my sheet where I tried to get on the agenda. This is the science I brought with me. There's no way I can get this in 90 seconds, but I believe I have a solution. I do have a meeting with Mr. Johnson at 3 o'clock on Friday. I don't have any real expectation of, all I wanted you guys to do is come up with a resolution. Hey, let's look into it, because North Bayshore Drive is not a personal problem to me. It is a significant piece of Keystone Islands, which is a significant piece of your ad valorem tax base. We're not going to give up waterfront property, but we need to take care of what we have. And I've taken a look at everything. I am not a scientist either, as Frank Wolin said. However, without figuring the gravity of the head of the water, the friction of the pipe, the actual mechanical value, the inclined mechanical value, the acceleration, the velocity of the water,
Finish your phrase. Go ahead, Doug.
My point is, you have a puddle. I know the reason it's now there since 1979. It hasn't been there. It's going to get worse with time because new construction is going to continue. Your pipe only can drain 33,000 gallons an hour. You have over 1 million gallons piled up, and then when you get the Lamborghinis and the Corvettes to stall out, but some of my neighbors have big SUVs and F-150s and the wave action. Jimmy Tracton had 6 inches of water in his garage, L. Herman, and my neighbor. It's going to be me next, and I'm putting the city on notice. Let's seek a solution rather than because to do nothing is only going to create bedlam, for which you'll sell me protection at usurious rates, and I don't want that to happen. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob Glickfield, local resident. I'm also speaking about item Q on the agenda. I recently read the minutes from the Durham meeting where the issue of the Biscayne Landings slag was discussed, and there were a few issues that I wanted to bring to the council's attention before they make any decision. The first thing is, as
can you speak up and state your name and address, please?
My name is Jacob Glickfield. Ah, I see, now I'm in the microphone. My name is Jacob Glickfield. I live at 12934 Banyan Road in Keystone, and I wanted to address item Q on the agenda. There were a few things which I wanted to bring to the council's attention when making a decision about what to do regarding the Biscayne Landings slag disposal. Regardless of which study you look at, whether it's 30% or 8%, whether it's 30% or 8% of the overall slag being something which is toxic and poisonous, this is not something which is being disposed of in a closed container. It's being put directly into the ground, which connects to the rest of the water table. As a former mayor of North Miami said in the minutes of that meeting, water is a closed circuit, meaning that whatever enters some of the water is going to enter all of the water. When if there's arsenic, aluminum, and various other toxic chemicals found in this, not only is it going to damage the quality of life for residents, the quality of parks, but it's actually going to be poisonous and lead to detrimental health effects for everyone in this room, because we all live here, we drink this water, and we breathe this air. Ultimately, there's no good reason to dispose of it this way, except that it will cost the developer a lot of money to do it any other way. The city manager pointed out in his comments in the minutes of those meetings that there could be some danger to the city in opposing the developer in any manner, but specifically in anything which would cost them any amount of money to change their position. I don't see how it's justifiable for the city to make a decision which is going to cause an obvious and tangible negative result for the citizens to risk the ire of a developer. Regardless of how this slag got here, something needs to be done with it. I'm not sure whose responsibility that is or exactly how to remove it, but it's not a viable option for the environment and for the citizens of North Miami to have these dangerous substances disposed of in such a callous manner which doesn't take the future into consideration.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I'm Kelly Reed. I'm a member of the council across the bay in Bay Harbor Islands. My address is 9801 East Bay Harbor Drive. And I'm here tonight to implore you to please be very prudent with your decisions about Biscayne Landing. 2 years ago, we sent a letter to the then sitting council, mayor, and manager asking that any of the testing and any of the results be very transparent. And I must compliment you. You have wonderful technology, website. I know you pride yourselves on the transparency to the members of your community. And back then, we were more concerned about the toxins that were coming from the older waste from way before many of our times. And it wasn't something that was on the top of our list, that we'd have to worry about new toxins potentially being delivered to the site. So we would just like to let you know that we're here to support you. And we also have some other colleagues from many of the other northeastern coastal communities. Many of us are boaters, environmentalists. We use the waterways, but we are very concerned about the air quality. We feel that the neighboring cities are also within the danger zone for both air and water contamination. So if there's anything that we can do to assist you, please don't hesitate to let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizen forum is still open. Citizen.
Willie Gouda, 2100 Keystone Boulevard. I was going to talk about totally something else, but since this Biscayne Landing thing came up, I've
Please
noticed
speak to the
one.
mic. Speak to the mic, please.
I've noticed one thing. I've been doing a lot of snorkeling this year around the Biscayne Landing area, especially around the mangroves around Beer Can Island, and I've noticed algae blooms. There's a red algae growing. The zoanthids that are on the rocks on the east side of Beer Can Island are disappearing. There are corals around the mangroves that I guess nobody really knows about, but it's my little coral reef. They're not doing too well there. So I'm not sure if it has anything to do with what they're doing in Biscayne Landings, but I've been going there for like 4 years, and this year I've noticed a drastic change. There's an algae that's covering the turtle grass on the Bear Can Island. There's a small island that I also snorkel, and the turtle grass is not doing too well there. It's a lot of algae that's growing there too. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
And I'm usually there every week.
Hi, I'm Susan Blumen, 1865 Northeast 117th Road, and welcome to all the new council members. I'm a little bit confused about this issue with Biscayne Landings, Munisport. I was at those early meetings a couple years ago where the engineers spoke very succinctly and clearly about the extraction wells, what was down there, what they were finding, what they were not finding. And I mean, there were quite a few of them with lines and arrows and posters and pictures, and it was a wonderful presentation, and I really appreciated having that information and that availability. However, I'm a little bit confused because what they were saying is that the groundwater wasn't that bad. They were pumping it out to sea, they said, but that the arsenic levels weren't that bad, and a lot of the toxins weren't as bad as they thought. So with that being said, why would we add to this issue and put substances down that are not down there? So I don't understand why we're allowing, as we're digging up, we'd have a brownfield situation going on over here and on just, behind 16th Avenue, and all these issues of digging out all these nasty things that are in the groundwater and also moving out into our water supply and our bay. So I'm just imploring you to think about, why are we putting more things back in when we're trying to clean everything up? Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is now closed. Do I have a motion for consent agenda?
No, I'd like to pull tab C and E for discussion. Not off the agenda, but just for discussion, please.
I'll second if that's necessary.
You want to remove tab C?
Yeah, I just want to discuss it, just some discussion with the council.
Okay.
You can vote on it, consent.
Okay. Besides tab C, do I have a motion for
Tab
the
E
approved
also.
agenda?
Tab E for discussion also.
I'll second tab E.
Okay, you have questions on those two. Very good. All right.
Thank you.
Besides that, do we have a motion for a consent agenda? So move.
I'll second consent agenda of tabs, what was it? A, B, and D as in dog.
Everything except for C and E that we're going to put up for discussion. Anybody wishes to record a no? Let's move it.
We're going to do roll call vote, Mayor, or that was the vote? Which would you prefer?
No. It's okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Councilwoman Steril.
No, we don't need to do. Nobody wishes to record a no, so
Okay.
I automatically it's a yes.
Measure passes 5-0.
Thank you. Now, can we move on to tab G, please? Or let's go to tab C.
Tab C, okay.
Go to C.
Tab C, proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Commissioner Kenneth Each as Chair and Commissioner Dana Maglora Fanello, Esquire, I'm sorry about the name butchering, as Vice Chair to the North Miami Housing and Development Authority in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 421 Florida statutes, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you. I'll just make this quick.
Do we have a motion on this?
Oh.
To discuss it.
I don't want to make a motion. I want to discuss it first before.
You seconded it. Vice Mayor, you seconded it.
No, I didn't. I seconded removing it from the consent agenda, so if we could discuss it. I'm curious what questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Ms.
we
Keith.
just need. Okay, we have a board that was appointed before 3 of us were on the council. I'm not sure how these members were appointed. They were not appointed by the council. They were approved by the council. A list. I personally do. I know Kenneth Each. I don't know Commissioner Dana Maglore Fenelon Esquire. I don't know who she is. So, and I have no information on it to approve her. I have no idea who she is.
City Attorney is going to answer you
Okay.
to this.
And
I
I
had
don't
the
know-
same questions too. When this came to me, I sat down with the City Attorney. She explained it to me and she sent me all the documentation that it was done prior to of our arrival. And these people are there for a certain number of years. Madam Attorney, would you mind
May I have it?
clarifying to Councilwoman Keys?
Can I finish first? Because I was there when they were appointed, so I know that. I know they were there. I'm just asking the board if we could readdress this commission and see who these people are and be educated.
So your problem really, it's Madam Magloire Fenelon and not Mr. Each, because
No,
you just
no.
mentioned that you know him.
Well, but I I know him, so I can vote yes. I don't know who this lady is, but I'm saying the board as a whole. There are a lot of people on this board who I do not know and do not know why they're on our board. They have nothing to do with the city of North Miami. And I'm just asking the council here if we could bring this back to discuss it and see if we want to keep all these people. It is our prerogative to change the nature of the board. It came up and...
Okay, let Madam Attorney answer you.
What is the exact question?
The exact question is whether I would like to know who this person is. I spoke to the manager about this. I did inquire. But can we go back to this board and look at it again and see if we want, and if we're satisfied with all the members on it? Or are we stuck with the members?
So you don't have a specific question regarding the making of the board?
I just want to know if while we're here in discussion, whether we can bring this back to discuss the board. I would love to know who this person is and how she was appointed, because I have not heard of her, so I don't know why she's on one of our North Miami boards. So that's a question. Who is this person? How did she get appointed?
Madam City Attorney, according to the, from what I understand, these people don't need to be living in North Miami in order for them to be on the board, isn't it?
That is correct.
Okay.
Can we revisit our board and, not tonight, but put that as an agenda item that we could revisit it, see the qualifications, what this board is doing and who they are?
No, it's already...
So if you recall, Councilwoman Keys, when the matter was voted on by the prior administration, there was a statute, Section 421, which outlined how the board is appointed, what the qualifications are for each board. In the agenda packet was the resume of each board member, and there was public hearing on the matter as well. You said that you had an opportunity to speak with the city manager about the issue. I would be most happy to explain to you and outline what the housing authority is,
So have they
what
met?
the powers of the housing authority is, and all of the related issues.
Because I'd like to see the minutes. I'd like to know when they're meeting. What is
So
being
if
discussed in minutes?
in the packet, in the resolution, if you open it up,
Okay.
let's do it together.
I saw the resolution authorizing them. I mean, all it was a resolution authorizing these.
So
two
whereas on April 23rd, 2013, the mayor and city council appointed its first 5 members of the City of North Miami
Right.
Housing Authority Board. And if you skip the next paragraph, whereas at the first meeting, which was held July 29th, you just asked when that was. So it's in the resolution.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
good. Do we have
Madam-
a motion to approve tab C?
I'll second for purpose of discussion.
How do you second without a motion, Vice Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the mayor was making a motion.
Councilman Benjamin made a motion.
Okay, to approve? Well, city...
Second for discussion.
Calvin, for discussion.
As one of those who voted in favor of the April 23rd legislation that created this board, I'm willing, under my authority, to bring it back at our next council agenda for discussion if necessary. I'm hopeful that all questions you might have with the councilwoman can be answered. But should there still be a need, I voted in favor of this. That gives me the right to vote to bring it back on a future agenda. So I reserve that right at this stage to do so if there's still a need. I see no reason not to approve Ms. Magliora and Mr. Each this evening, but if there remain questions as to what the nature of this board is and what its duties are, I'll be glad to bring it back.
Well, see, the thing is that when the city attorney brought this to our attention last time, I had the opportunity to sit down with her and ask her all the questions, and she gave me all the answers that I needed. I'm not sure. I think one of the things we should start doing is to ask questions before we get here so we know what it's all about. Not when we come to the dais and start asking questions that you don't have. And it was there on the agenda and nobody asked any questions prior.
I asked
This
the
is
manager
why-
Monday. I spent 3.5 hours with the manager yesterday and did not finish everything that I needed to discuss. I got the agenda Thursday night. We have a really packed agenda. There's a lot of items on this agenda. Some have been moved. We have a budget to discuss. I have done nothing but read all weekend, and this was not one of my top priorities for this agenda. And this is the first time I saw the request for this was Thursday night.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Galvin?
Yes.
Mayor Thundro?
No.
Councilman Bieneman?
I'm sorry.
Wait.
What is it that we voted? Are we voting
We're
to
voting on these two
the
members.
agenda or?
No, we already voted on the
I mean,
agenda.
Voted on the agenda already.
No, I know we're voting on the
We're
consent
voting
agenda.
on
Are
C,
we-
these two members. I voted yes. Mayor
Mr.
voted
Clerk.
no.
We're voting on a motion to approve tab C.
That's correct. Councilman Bieneman?
To approve tab C as it is, not to remove it or to report it.
That's correct.
Okay, that's correct. So let me go with a yes.
Councilman Bieneman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys?
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril?
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Tab E, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the appointment of Kathleen Arcelli, Esquire, as special magistrate for code enforcement proceedings, and authorizing the city manager and city attorney to execute a one-year letter of agreement with the special magistrate in substantially the attached form, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Councilwoman Keys had a question on this.
Okay. I'm not speaking against the applicant. I just have a question to our attorney. This is about the fourth magistrate we've appointed in the last year or so. How are we picking the magistrates? Have we done any like RFP or any announcements in the Daily Business Review telling people we have these positions available?
No, we've not.
Is there a reason we don't?
It's
let
not
the public-
necessary.
It's not necessary.
And it's not been the practice of the city.
Is there something written? I didn't have time to research, and I'm sorry. Our code does our code speak on these magistrates, how they're appointed, or where we get them from, or
Not the specifics.
so?
no.
This is strictly whoever you pick is who we get for our magistrate.
Whoever the council approves. Whoever the council approves.
The council doesn't pick anybody, though. They approve someone after you've picked them.
Whoever the council approves is who will be appointed as
But it's
special
put in
magistrate.
front of us to approve.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
May I follow up with that question? And Madam City Attorney, did you choose the applicant that's before us this evening?
Yes.
What standard did you use to communicate this opening to that individual?
What standard did I use to communicate?
What method? How did you let that person know that this job was available?
Well, many attorneys are aware that we are implementing a red light camera program, and many attorneys have called and contacted my office to inquire about that position.
So there were more than just this one applicant who expressed interest in the position?
That is correct.
Did they express interest via any written correspondence, or is it all just phone record?
I think primarily phone, perhaps. I think perhaps primarily phone.
Okay. How did this one individual come to be at the top of your list to be recommended to us this evening?
I vetted the applicants and decided that this was a good option for us.
By vetting the applicants, were there applications or resumes that were submitted?
There were resumes, correct.
How many resumes were submitted?
Perhaps 4 or 5.
May I have copies of those 4 or 5 tomorrow?
If I still have them.
If they're public record, you should still have them. Do you still have them, or?
I have to look in my office.
If there are 4 or 5 applicants and you're telling us this evening that there were 4 or 5 applicants and you don't have those 4 or 5.
I'm not telling you that I do not have them.
Okay, so you're quite certain then that you do have those 4 or 5 applicants, because those are public records as soon as they submit an application or any type of CV.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'd look forward to having those this tomorrow.
Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
I move to approve
We
tab
haven't had a
E.
motion.
Was it not a motion for
I
to
don't think
discuss
there's a
it?
motion.
I
Okay.
just make a motion.
I'll second. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilwoman Steril,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Galvin,
No.
Mayor Thundrow,
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme. Measure passes 4-1. Tab G. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders in the amount of $110,136.25 per year for a period of 5 years to Musco Sports Lighting LLC for the lease purchase and installation of sports lighting equipment at Cadney Park North, piggybacking a competitive bid award issued under RFP number 80809-3, various equipment and amenities for parks and playgrounds by the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Is there a motion to approve? Tab G.
I move to approve it for question.
Okay. I'll second for questions. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, my first question for the city manager. When I looked through the explanation, I was not clear exactly why is it so high, $110,000.
It's the type of lighting. These will be the highlights, pole-type lightings that you see at Pepper and Ben Franklin Park that would light the entire field. That the cost of these lights are standard in the industry.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Does that replace does that include replacement of bulbs as well?
No. The reason why this particular company was used is because of their energy efficient bulbs and the lifetime of their bulbs. So once we buy the lighting, of course, they do not standardly go out like you would see in a house. These are lights that would stay on. We replace them as needed, as we would at Ben Franklin, as we would at Pepper Park, and as we would at the FIU Stadium.
Okay. Mr. Clerk. Mr. Clerk.
Roll call.
Mayor Thundrow.
Before we do, I think we need some people from the audience would like to speak. We should open public hearings on this one.
Okay, Mayor.
I guess no one want to speak. Public hearing is now closed. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Okay. Mayor Thundrow.
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Galvin.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab H. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute the fourth option to renew professional services agreement in substantially the attached form between the city of North Miami and Brown of Florida, INC, DBA, TR Jones and Company, to continue to provide the city with excess workers' compensation insurance coverage for 1 additional year at a cost not to exceed $125,770, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Move approval.
Second.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril.
Here. Yes.
Vice Mayor Galvin.
Yes.
Mayor Thundrow.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab I. proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a fourth option to renew professional services in substantially the attached form between the city of North Miami and Risk Management Associates, INC, DBA, Public Risk Insurance Agency, to continue to provide the city with uninterrupted public official liability insurance coverage for 1 additional year at a cost not to exceed $104,303, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Discussion?
Just a quick question for staff, if I might, Madam Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, I meant to ask this under the last item. When you say exercise a fourth option, what does that mean, technically?
Basically, this would be the last year of this contract.
Oh, so it was an original granting, and then we've optioned it in successive years, so this is the fourth and last option for this grant?
That's correct. And it will be, the 2 items will be going out to bid within 2 months. It takes a while before the bids and the processes and the evaluations to take place. These bids will be out again before the end of the year.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's all, Madam Mayor.
Mr. City Manager, do we have a broker for those insurance agencies, or we just put it out to bid individually?
For these, we put them out to bid through the risk manager's office individually. One covers workers' comp, and the other one covers errors and omissions and liability.
Okay.
Public hearing is open on this. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Clerk.
I need a motion in a second, Mayor. We don't
I'll
have
make a
to-
motion.
He did
I'll move
Vice
approval
Mayor
of item I.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bieneme.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterville.
Yes.
Mayor Thundro.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Galvin.
Yes.
Measure passes 5-0. Tab J, proposed resolution of the city of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, establishing and adopting a retirement incentive plan for eligible employees and authorizing the city manager to take all necessary steps to effectuate the plan and providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
I'd like to make a motion that we continue this till the next meeting, based on the fact that we've gotten a 1-page synopsis of a complete pension plan that is going to affect a large portion of our employees. I spoke to the manager on this yesterday. I asked for actuarials. I asked for costs. What is this going to cost us if people do take us up on this plan? I don't have any of those numbers. I can't make an educated decision on this evening.
I'll second the motion to continue to the next item, to the next agenda.
Mr.
Here's my question before we go to vote. Mr. City Manager, I understand that we need 2 readings for this item. If it doesn't pass now, would that affect your budget, the 2014-15 budget?
Yes, if this item was to pass tonight, we would have to come back before the council to change the pension plan, and it will require 2 readings after tonight. So if this item was to pass tonight, we would have to come back and change the pension ordinance, which requires 2 readings, which will take place the 2 next council meetings in October.
And my question to you, is that package available to everybody?
This package will be, one of the amendments that I wanted to make to this is that we will have to include it, make it available to the bargaining unit, because we have to negotiate any type of amendment or benefit to the employee. It has to be amended, it has to be negotiated because of the unions. Tonight, this was the first stage in targeting non-bargaining unit members. So at a later date, we will continue this because you're dealing with bargaining unit members and non-bargaining unit members. So this particular plan is for non-bargaining units, non-bargaining employees, and it would also, if passed, will be presented to bargaining.
And they will come back to us as well.
And it will come back. Both situations. There's 3 different unions.
What are you going to bargain exactly?
What we would bargain is a retirement incentive plan. Basically, it's an early retirement. I do have a small presentation that we could provide to you. As I had explained to Councilwoman Keys, we don't know who will take this plan. So the cost of it is unknown, but we did run down a scenario that we thought was helpful in making that decision. And also we have the actuary present here tonight. If given the opportunity, he can further explain how this would work.
How are you going to present it to the employees?
It will be presented as is. Basically, if you meet the requirements and if you want to retire early, you can. You don't have to. It's your option. Nobody is forced to take this. Nobody is obligated to take this. Studies have shown when you offer this, those that are eligible, only about 20 to 30% of the people take it. People take it because it fits their situation. Some people won't take it because it does not fit their situation. But if this was executed, it will have a very positive impact on allowing me to reduce the budget.
Okay, public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Are we, hold on, Madam
Right.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you clarify what we're voting on?
Absolutely. Right now, we're voting on Councilwoman Carol Key's motion to table this item until next meeting. It was seconded by Councilman Vice Mayor Galvin. So that's what we're voting on right now, whether or not we're going to table it.
Okay.
Is that okay, Mayor?
That's correct. Roll call.
Okay, so Councilwoman Keys,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterrill,
No.
Vice Mayor Galvin,
Yes.
Mayor Thundro,
No.
and Councilman Bienemir.
No.
Okay, Carol Key's motion has failed. Now, the actual tab J as is, may I have a motion to approve that? Or
So move.
I need a second.
Second.
Madam Mayor, there was some amendments that is not in the resolution that you asked me about, and the amendment to the resolution would be allowing me to offer this to the collective bargaining groups. There's a white collar, the blue collar, and the police.
But is that standard? That's normal.
Uh,
You couldn't do it without presenting to them anyway.
Through this resolution, the attorneys or the union representatives wanted to ensure that we would sit down and negotiate with them. They are looking forward to me sitting down and offering this to them. So they wanted and asked if I would amend the resolution to reflect that.
Okay.
Also, they had asked, and I had thought that it would be okay to change the rule to 60 instead of 65. That would incorporate the opportunity for additional employees to take advantage of this. So the amendment would be to
60
change
instead
it
of
from
65.
60 to 65, and
No,
to
from
also
65 to 60.
65 to 60,
Yeah.
and to also include members of the collective bargaining unit.
Very good.
I'd like to
Mr. Clerk.
Okay, we're voting on the item with
Do we
the
get
amendment.
discussion now?
I have lots of discussion.
If we're going to go with this, I'll defer to you, Councilman.
Yeah, no, thank you, Councilwoman. How many staff members could theoretically take retirement under this new amended plan?
Approximately 40
Okay. Of the 40 that could potentially...
that could be offered. Of that, statistically
20 to
shows
30% would
20
take
to
it.
30%.
But let's assume this is a sweet deal and all 40 walk away.
Correct.
That's big loss of, institutional knowledge and hierarchy. I agree that it's good to sort of trim where we might be heavy, but 40 senior level people in this city walking at the same time is a lot. How do you address filling in those positions if, by chance, a greater percentage than 20 to 30% take this sweet deal?
We have our succession planning has been something I've been doing for the past 2 years. Absent of this plan, if we did not have succession planning where institutional knowledge had been passed down or put in place to be passed down, 3 to 4 years from now, you could be facing 30 to 40 people to retire because of normal retirement. So this happens in cities all the time where people leave, they decide to retire, and you lose institutional knowledge, but it's always good to have in place information that is constantly being passed down to those that are under those individuals.
Would you be able to provide members of council with a list of the names of the 40 potential people who might retire between now and the next hearing on this item?
I would have to check with personnel if we're able to do that. I don't think that we're able to do that for several legal reasons. One is that we cannot encourage or discourage employees to take this. So I at this point, I would say no. If at a later date that I can, through the personnel department and through our attorneys, I will provide that information to you. But in order to protect that law and the employees' rights, we cannot encourage them or discourage them for taking this plan.
Sure, I understand that, but I think a simple list without pro or con on it is not, my opinion, not encouraging them or discouraging them. From my standpoint, if the 40 people represents 20 hierarchy people in the police department who could all walk at the same time, I really need to know that, because if the top 20 people at North Miami Police walked out the door tomorrow, I'd really feel bad that I just voted in favor of this. If that's now, I don't know that's the case. I don't know that's, but
it's
you
not
follow
the
where
case.
Okay, but you follow where I'm coming from. I'd really like to know potentially if we have 40 senior people who are going to walk out the door. I'd like to see the impact of where that would hit us and what that impact would be. So that the list of names, I don't think pro or con tells them that they have to take it. And you're telling us unequivocally here tonight that if they don't want to take this, they don't have to.
That's correct. And providing you the names of who could leave 3 or 4, 5 years from now when they decide to retire anyway, there's nothing that we can do about it.
No, that's cool, but that happens naturally 3 to 4 years now. We're creating a sort of unnatural situation for people to be able to retire. This isn't a normal phasing out. This is, here's a deal. See you later if you want this. I'd just like to know exactly who might theoretically walk out the door, because I'd feel more comfortable just sort of understanding how that's going to impact the city.
Sir, if we can just review that legal issue and then advise you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Clerk, are we done with the discussion?
No,
Councilor Ruben, you wanted to say something?
I'd like to say something on this. We spoke, I agree with Councilman Galvin. This is an unnatural exodus of top employees. It is not natural. When you're getting ready to retire, you're counting down the days from 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, and you're making plans. This is not like that. You have not given us enough information. I spoke to you till last night, and we were still on the rule of 65. When did you change it to the rule of 60?
It was at the request of some of the bargaining unit members and the other non-bargaining unit members.
Okay. This was really not advertised. People don't know about this to speak on it or not, just coming up here this evening. And basically, I don't have enough information to make any kind of educated vote on this.
Can I ask you a question? It's an option that's been, people don't have to take it, right?
That's correct.
If they want to or not.
Correct.
What is it going to cost us? I mean, we don't have any numbers. When people take the retirement, it is going to cost the city. We may be having budget issues, but we have to turn around and pay these people their sick pay, their insurance, whatever payouts that there are. So this is going to cost the city money, and we're all deciding to do this without the first dollar sign in front of us. What is it going to cost?
Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Bien-Aimé.
60, right? The way it is, instead of 65, 60.
That's correct.
Yes.
Mayor Thundrow.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Galvin.
No.
Councilwoman Keys.
No.
Councilwoman Steril.
Yes.
Measure passes 3-2. Tab K.
And Mayor and Council, being that this passed, we will have to come back before you with the ordinance amendment that would be at the next two council
And
meetings.
by the way, I know that the city attorney mentioned that she will look into the legal side of the question in case we need to publish the name. I would feel very uncomfortable to know that we're actually publishing people's names. It will seem like we are either forcing them that they're retired. If one person, in case if the law or says it's okay, but please do it with with sensitivity instead of just publish it to everybody. I am not interested to know that who should be retired or who might be retired. That's their right, and I'm trying to stay out of the administration issues. So you guys deal with your employees and let me know how the policies works, how I can bring my input into it. So I'm not interested.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, tab K, please.
Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, memorializing certain financial allocations of revenue derived from the Biscayne Landing lease proceeds, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Mr. Manager, can you explain, please?
Okay. City attorney.
I'm going to defer to the city attorney. I'm going to defer to the city attorney.
Okay.
So this item, if you recall on, well, actually back from last year where there were certain allocations that were made from funds derived from the Biscayne Landing monies, there was an oral motion that was made by then Councilman Marcellus that allocated certain monies, and thereafter we thought it was better practice to memorialize those allocations into an actual resolution for future purposes, so that if there are any questions about what was said or was not said, that it would forever be in writing. Moving forward, on August 27th, this council heard a motion from Councilman Bien-Aimé as to certain allocations and for streets, sidewalk beautification and so forth in and surrounding District 3. And so now this item is in a resolution form that was advertised and so forth, that outlines exactly where the money is going, for what purposes it serves, and where it's from. And so this resolution, just like the previous resolution, and I think just moving forward, it's probably better practice when there are oral motions that discuss large sums of money, that we begin to memorialize them and put them in writing so that future council members and everyone knows that they can easily look up a resolution and find exactly where that came from.
Now, what is the difference since it was voted already by a vast majority of the council? Why do we need to do a resolution? I'm trying to understand the whole process.
So, again, when you are allocating large sums of money, I think it's just better practice to have a resolution so that a year from now, if someone asks, so there was an allocation of something, you're not going to go back and look at the minutes and try to see exactly who voted for what or what it was. You want to be able to look at a resolution, search the resolution number or what have you, and then easily find it. I think it was recently brought to our attention that there was some allocation to the Senior Citizens Foundation some years back, and we cannot locate a resolution that actually made that specific allocation. I think there was a discussion that it was voted on orally at a meeting, and so it's somewhere in the minutes, but we cannot find an actual resolution. And then secondly, as you know, we do not take verbatim minutes of each meeting, council meeting, unless it's specifically requested. What we do is a summary. So it's just better practice, I think, moving forward, that anytime there are large allocations of monies, that we follow it up like we did for the Marcellus motion, is what it's been called over the last year, that we follow that up with the resolution so that there are no questions as to the what, when, ifs, and hows.
Is there a motion, Johnny, for discussion?
May I, Madam
You want to
Mayor?
make a motion for discussion? Would you?
That's your item. You want to make a motion, or you want me to make it for you?
I want you to make it.
Make a motion to move this item for discussion.
A second.
So, each time that we allocate a large amount of money, I understand do we have to follow up the next council meeting, or we can actually, or I will go by your advice, once we make that motion and we second it, can we actually make it as a resolution right then and there, or we have to wait?
Well, so I guess in an idea, I'm sure some point in the future we'll be able to just draft the resolution right there and there, right at the meeting, and be able to do that. But we're not quite there yet.
I have a question.
That would be my suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion. Yeah.
My question is, how much is large amount?
Well, I mean, this is going to be
How much?
up to the council's discretion, certainly. This is just a suggestion or a recommendation that I think just for better practices sense. So how much is a large amount? I don't know. We can
Makes no
maybe
difference
play
to
it
me.
by ear. I'm sorry?
Makes no difference to me. Let's move on.
Okay, Mr. Clerk.
I'm sorry, I had questions.
Mhm.
Because I'm confused too. We originally put the money for sidewalks aside on what date?
I believe it was August 27th.
And at the August 27th meeting, the motion that was made, seconded, and approved, was that to set aside money for sidewalks, or was that motion specifically to set aside money for sidewalks for District 3?
District 3.
I'm sorry, Madam City Attorney, was that
through the mayor? Would you like me to?
Yeah, go
answer?
ahead.
Yes, I believe it was for District 3.
So you're saying with absolute certainty, the motion that was made on August the 27th was for sidewalk money, $1.5 million for District 3 and District 3 only?
Well, I believe that this resolution certainly is clear in that.
Right,
it
but I'm
states
asking,
that
I'm not
it-
asking
no,
about
no,
tonight's
but
resolution.
with-
I'm asking about the vote on August 27th, because we're being asked to codify and clarify what happened on August 27th. I've watched the video a few times, so I'm asking you again, please. The motion that was made and seconded and approved on August the 27th was $1.5 million for sidewalks for District 3?
That is my belief, yes. And what I'm saying to you is if there are any questions, then certainly having a resolution that was publicized and noticed and clearly states that there should be no question moving forward as to what this body would like to do with this $1.5 million.
Here's my concern, gang.
Can I ask a legal question following to what you're just saying?
Sure.
Legally, this question that the vice mayor just asked, is it yours, the city clerk, or the city manager? I just don't know. If I have a question about the minutes, what had said couple of meetings ago, should that address to you or the city clerk, or who should worry about the minutes? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't want to put the city clerk on the spot
You
here,
don't
but
mess with the city clerk.
No. This is serious. This is serious because I know that you are answering questions, and you know how I feel about my question being answered to from the right person, coming from the right person. Because when I have to say that he or she or this department told me so. So I enjoy that very much so. So right now, if we have a question about that minute, what is it exactly that we move? Who would have to answer that question?
So generally speaking, if you have the question about minutes, it would be the city
Okay,
clerk.
can we refer to the city clerk to ask to answer
Absolutely.
this question, or Mr. Clerk?
Yeah, absolutely. What's the question, Councilwoman?
I think the question that the Vice Mayor asked, what exactly that the resolution was, which I know that was moved by Councilman Bien-Aimé about the $1.5 million to be allocated to his district.
I don't remember the specifics of the resolution. If I'm remembering right, nothing in the resolution specifies that it was going to a particular district. However, when it was being discussed when you guys were discussing it, Bien-Aimé made the motion, and the entire discussion was premised on the 1.5 million going towards District 3. That was the that was the intentions of. That's what I recall. Now, in terms of what the actual resolution said, I think it was an understanding that this particular 1.5 was going directly to District 3. Councilman Bien-Aimé was the individual who placed it on the agenda. It was voted on regarding his district. And that's what I remember the discussion. That's what I recall. But in terms of the actual resolution.
Hold on. I really appreciate it, Vice Mayor, for allowing me to speak on, take on your question.